Rights Watch. Could you talk about their concerns?
Yes. So Doctors Without Borders, which basically, as everyone knows, is a major humanitarian group, is extremely concerned about what would happen with medicine prices. And this gets to the language I'd mentioned, where I was shocked to see rollbacks of previous reforms that the Bush administration had made. So Big Pharma got a lot of goodies in this agreement. In a free trade agreement, we see new monopoly protections for Big Pharma. And so Doctors Without Borders is basically pointing out that in a whole smorgasbord of policies where Big Pharma was trying to use the TPP, the good name of free trade, to put into place a bunch of new protections and privileges to raise medicine prices, they got their way. And the two biggest ones are, which is shocking rollbacks from the old U.S. trade standard, which was bad, is all the developing countries in TPP, including countries that are really poor like Vietnam, ultimately have to have the same extreme patent standards, extreme exclusivities that will just price people out of medicines. I mean, it will translate to people dying.
Lori, let's go to the MSF, the Doctors Without Borders video. This is a part of it.
The TPP is slated to become the most harmful trade agreement ever for access to medicines. The TPP could impose new rules that will extend monopoly protection for medicines, keeping prices sky high for longer and blocking generic drugs from entering the market. For example, one rule would allow patents to be extended beyond 20 years. This means that patients will have to wait longer for access to affordable medicines. And this wait is potentially indefinite because another TPP rule would allow new 20-year patents to be granted for modifications of existing drugs, for a new dosage, for new formulations, even when there is no real improvement in efficacy for patients. So people must wait longer for affordable generic medicines to become available. The TPP would also require surgical methods to be patentable. For example, how a doctor operates on a patient.
That's what Doctors Without Borders said. This is U.S. Trade Representative Michael Froman on the impact of the TPP on research and access to life-saving drugs.
On biologics, as you know, this is one of the most challenging issues in the negotiation. We've worked cooperatively with all of our TPP partners to secure a strong and balanced outcome that both incentivizes the development of these new life-saving drugs while ensuring access to these pioneering medicines and their availability. And this is the first trade agreement in history to ensure a minimum period of protection for biologics, and in doing so will help set a regional model and will create an environment in which, through comparable treatment, there will be an effective period of protection to encourage both innovation and access.
That's the U.S. Trade Representative Michael Froman. Lori Wallach, your comment on both clips?
Well, now we've seen the text. The American public can look at it, and Doctors Without Borders is right. And the U.S. Trade Representative is trying to defend an indefensible industry position that the administration has put into this agreement. I mean, the bottom line is most of the countries involved have no exclusivity for those kinds of cutting-edge drugs, which are a lot of the cutting-edge cancer cures, biologics. And now they will have 5 years at a minimum. The industry says they got 8 years. There'll be enormous pressure to have more monopolies. And just think about the theory of this, a free trade agreement that stops competition. It stops the competition of generics that bring down prices. That is actually what's in the text, whatever the U.S. officials are saying. We can read it now.
Well, Lori,